Yo, 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 it's Kaya and Keegan here from the basement of the clock tower.
We are here with another part of our special episode, talking about some people's experiences at DACC. And we have an expert guest here. We have Michelle York, right?
Yes.
Michelle York, who through the chains, we have heard she has some interesting abilities. Is that right?
Yes.
Would you like to, first off, introduce yourself and tell us exactly what you
Okay.
are?
I'm Michelle York, and I am a medium and a psychic, and I go by messenger, but most people know me as a medium and psychic, and this is what I do full time. So I have a clientele, and I help people with readings and whatever that they need.
So, when did you first realize kind of your abilities?
Ever since I was little, I always saw spirits, so I don't recall not having this gift, and I just always thought everyone saw spirits. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I grew up in the church, and my parents are ministers, and it was around, I think I was like around sixth grade. We had a children's church down in the basement, and after church, my brother and his best friend were wrestling. And in children's church, there was always a spirit lady that sat in the front row.
Really?
And yeah, she had on like a dark green dress and those clunky old heels that older ladies would wear.
Yep.
And she would wear a hat with a veil that came right here.
Wow.
Gotcha.
And she always said her name was Mrs. Prinkles without the S. It would be Sprinkles, but without the S, she was Mrs. Prinkles. And one Sunday after church, my brother and his best friend were wrestling. And one of them, my brother's best friend Mark, landed on her. And
Wow.
it really upset me. And so I got onto him and I told him, tell her you're sorry, apologize to her, because we were not raised to be disrespectful
Yeah.
and fall on old ladies, right? And so I told them, apologize to her, and they looked at me like I was absolute nuts.
Oh my goodness.
And my brother's like, I think you need to go talk to mom and dad. And so that was the beginning of learning that not everybody saw things. I thought that
Yeah.
everybody knew about her and saw her, but it's funny, when I looked back as an adult, no one ever talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Okay.
you would think people would have
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so just
So what, could you vividly see her as just like another
Absolutely,
person?
just
Like
like
it
I'm
wasn't
looking
like
at
a
you.
translucent
no,
see-through?
but I see that too. I see all.
Okay.
And then sometimes I don't see it all, but I know. And I think
Okay.
that's the gift that a lot of people have, is like you just know what you know.
So is there a difference when you see this vivid person versus maybe seeing it more like see-through ghost-like, or just feeling it? Like, is there a difference, or is it all the same
there
thing?
really is not a difference between them. It's just she had more energy to show a full
Oh.
body, where a lot just don't have that energy.
So do you think you were able to read more from her because she had more energy?
No,
No?
I think it's all the same.
Really?
Yeah, just some you see more clear than others.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I had a question. You said that you were a medium psychic, but you go by messenger, right?
Right.
So going back to the medium and psychic, I'm understanding that some people, how does it go? Some people are psychic, but not necessarily a medium.
Right.
But
Not-
usually mediums can be psychic, or no?
A medium is someone that can that can see spirits and talk to spirits, and they sometimes will talk back. It's just like people. If they
Yeah.
want to talk, they'll talk. If they don't, they won't.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then how does psychic play into that? How is that different?
a psychic is just, you have a knowing. You just know certain things that are going to happen or whatever.
Yeah.
But the medium works more with the spiritual realm.
Gotcha.
So like where people are seeing things on campus, that's where the mediumship would more come into play.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you don't necessarily need any. I'm just basing this really off of like Tyler Henry or whatever. Do you know who I'm talking about? And like these famous mediums that you see
Right.
all over the media. But do you need like items or somebody who had like an emotional connection with them?
No.
Not at all.
No. And everybody works different. I just, and I don't like call in anything. I don't conjure anything.
Yeah.
It's just if they If they come, then I know it's okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking before this, and you said something really interesting. So I'm just going to ask you, how do you think spirits are like kind of created, or how does a human become a spirit?
Okay, we're all spirits.
Okay.
I mean, every one of us, we're a spirit body,
Okay.
and we have a soul, and the spirit, when we pass on, our spirit continues, and our spirit and our soul are our energy. You know, everything is energy. So when a spirit crosses over, they have free will on the other side, just like we do. If they can decide if they want to go to the light, yeah, there is a light, and they can decide if they want to go or if they want to wait. Some will wait for a spouse. Some are, I've had spirits say, I'm not good enough to go to the light, you know, and
Wow.
they've evidently had religious upbringing, and so I talked them through that.
Yeah.
But I don't, a lot of people go, they will make people go to the light. You can't force anyone to
No.
do anything, you know.
What I
so-
was understanding from it is that there's this kind of middle gray area that you have to pass through to, get to the light, like you were saying. But some people just aren't ready, and they need more closure. Is that what
It's free will. If they want to go, they can go. Some really, like let's use this building for an example. Say there was a prof that taught here for many, many years, and he just loved it, and this was his home, and he did not want to cross over. He just wanted to keep walking through the hallways.
Yeah.
He would have that right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
I can't imagine that. I mean, I would
Yeah.
want to go on to something further. And when you do go all the way, it is so much better because then, the other side is a lot like life here. They have jobs. They're with family. There's
Yeah.
That's what's the best when they have the family reunions. There's dogs over there. There's animals over there.
Yeah.
So like if you lose a pet, there I was talking to this young guy. He was like 14, and his pet was right there, and
Yeah.
so he, it made him.
Wow.
It really comforted him to
Yeah.
know that his pet's okay.
Yeah.
That he just didn't turn to dust, and that was the end of his life.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you see what you do as really fulfilling?
I do. I mean, sometimes I get tired.
Yeah.
But I really love what I do because I love when it can bring closure to
Yeah.
people. I love when it can just really help them. So that part is really rewarding. I'm thankful that I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you said that this is your full-time job, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that look like? I mean, it's solely
I
based
work
off
from home.
Okay.
I was constantly going to like different psychic fairs and things like that.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. But then with COVID, I just started working from home. And so I will do readings either through email so people can send me in questions and I answer it.
Is that how easy it can be?
For me, I can't say
Wow.
for anybody
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And then, or we will do like a Zoom or a Facebook chat or whatever they're comfortable with. I'll meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So
Interesting.
what percentage of people that would identify as a messenger or a psychic would you say are truly hold those abilities? Do you think there's a lot of like
True. Yeah.
The ones I've met, I've not known that many.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be negative.
Yeah.
There are some that are absolutely, it really boils down to your heart. And this is just my opinion, so it boils down to your heart. If you don't have the heart for it, you're just not going to be good at it. If
Yeah.
you're in it for your ego,
and doing it for the right reasons is okay.
then you're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people come in full of ego and they just don't make it. Mm-hmm. So.
Gotcha.
And I did want to ask you one more thing about your specific practice. Again, I was reading somewhere and it was talking about how this medium, what he does is he has to kind of zone in and he has to, sit there and really zone into it, while I'm kind of understanding that you don't have to really concentrate as hard, if that makes sense.
I've never had to do that. The only thing that Spirit has told me is just show up and love. That's
Really?
my only two things I have to do. I got to show up and have love.
Yeah. Interesting.
Not judge, not, any of that. Just show up in love, and Spirit just comes through.
So is that kind of what you're seeing still? Is that Mrs. Prinkles type of thing, is where they're just sitting there and you really don't know if other people are seeing them sometimes?
I
And it
don't
just kind
know,
of
and
just
I
like,
don't ask because like when I
I don't ask.
when I first found out that other people weren't seeing what I was seeing, you know,
Yeah.
you feel like a freak, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And even in my 20s, I think I stopped for a while, and then in my 20s, I worked at a mission for homeless women and children, and there was like a chapel across from the office, and I worked the night shift.
Oh.
And there was all kinds of spirit happening in the chapel and voices and everything. One to talk to. I
Yeah.
had no one to ask
Exactly.
questions to or
people
ask.
people come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was nothing on TV at that time.
Yeah.
So I just remember looking in the yellow pages thinking, I really need a counselor. Something is wrong with me. And then I did meet, you know, a lady that told me that this was a gift, and she told me, she called it the Shining. I still don't fully know what that means.
Interesting.
And but yeah, it's something that I've always just had to struggle to accept, and now that I'm older, I just accept it, and you know, I don't worry about the judgments because
Yeah.
there's a lot of judgment, and that's okay.
Yeah. No, I heard that we had a professor whose wife does this, and I was like, this is
It's
amazing.
perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to meet her and hear your story so badly because I'm just so intrigued by all of this.
And he's always been my number one fan. It's so funny because we were in a metaphysical store and I was looking at stones and stuff, and the lady was talking about, she had an upcoming psychic fair. And my husband said, my wife does that. And I just wanted to just like sink into the ground, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is he saying? You know, I don't want anyone to know this. And he's like, yeah, she does this. And so the lady talked to me and she says, well, come back next week and do a reading for me. And so when we got in the car and stuff, I scolded him. And I'm like, why are you telling people? Don't tell people, you know. And so I went back the next week. I did not want to, but he pushed me. He's like, yeah, you can do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I gave her a reading and she loved it. And then she sent in her assistant who was supposed to play the bad cop. And this lady was supposed to be like real mean and judgmental and stuff. Well, I started seeing things about her husband, and then she was sitting in the chair crying.
Wow.
And so that ruined that.
Yeah.
But, you know, she couldn't play the bad cop, but
Exactly.
I definitely got in. They're like, yeah, you're the real thing,
Yeah.
which was a wonderful compliment. And so that's how I started
Yeah.
doing the psychic fairs, but it's
That is
nothing
so
that
cool.
I would have said or you know, said, oh, hey, me.
Yeah, exactly. So, do these readings get really emotional?
Oh yeah, people. I'm always known as I make everybody cry, but it's good crying.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
You know, it's good cries,
Yeah.
and sometimes I cry with them. It's
Yeah.
emotional.
Wow.
You
It
know.
is.
So how quickly can you do one?
I have to be like in the, you know, I just don't whip it out. Like people think, you know,
Yeah.
are you reading my mind?
Yeah,
Exactly,
that's what I was just
exactly.
It's like,
thinking.
no, I don't do that. I don't do it unless I have permission. You know, I'm not
Yes.
like on TV, and I'm not going to go
Wow.
up to people and say, you know, hey, because there is a lot of people that don't appreciate this.
Yeah.
And I would never want to offend anyone.
And there
Yeah.
there might be even people out there who don't want to know.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, don't have the same, are on the same level as, you know,
And
wanting
if
to know
spirit
about
really wants a message through, spirit will push me.
Yeah.
You know, because I was at our, we live in a small town and we have a CVS, and spirit was telling me to tell the cashier that everything's going to be okay with Juan. And I thought, no, I'm not doing that. There's people here. But Spirit kept pushing. And so then I told Spirit, I'm like, okay, clear everybody away, and then I'll do it. Because I don't want to make a fool out of
Yeah.
myself and just clear everybody away. And people were still there except for like one person. And so I went back to the car, and I felt so guilty.
Yeah.
And Spirit wouldn't leave me alone. So then I went back in, and there was nobody there, and I said, I hope this doesn't sound strange, but I'm just supposed to let you know that everything's going to be okay with Juan. And she started crying, and she's like, oh, you know Juan? I'm like, no, no. And I
Wow.
usually don't get names, so that was
Yeah.
perfect.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, and this is me because I'm kind of curious, but when you're talking about spirit, it kind of, and telling you to do stuff, it sounds like what someone is saying when God's talking to them.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what you
I
think?
think of it as the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how I grew up. That's what I knew. That's what I'm comfortable with. And I always, God and Jesus were harder for me to accept.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I just couldn't be good enough.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was
Yeah.
always making mistakes.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit, I knew and I loved, and he was a spirit, and I
Yeah.
always saw spirit. So I was so comfortable with him. And, you know, even there's scripture that says the Holy Spirit will teach you all things.
Yeah.
And I think this is all part of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you said that there was a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of resentment from the religious community?
I do. I
Okay.
do. And my parents are ministers, and they're wonderful. I guess I could say fans, but then at times they're like, Michelle, don't you think you just need to stop this? You know, so they're kind of torn because
Yeah.
they just don't know, but they see the blessings
Yeah.
Yeah.
that come out of this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I do have to ask, is you say that you don't, you know, you're not just talking to someone and it doesn't just pop up sometimes, and you don't push things upon people if they don't ask for it. But I would assume that you would kind of get some of these things like, you know, Mrs. Prinkles and stuff like that. Do things get loud ever? You know, do they overwhelm you with?
Not really. You know, like if I'm in some place that's really dark, that's what I would call evil. You know,
Okay.
because there are places that are extremely negative.
Yeah.
That can be overwhelming. That can be overwhelming.
What are some examples of that? I mean, what have you
I've gone
experienced?
to one house to check for spirits, and that was the real deal.
Really?
But most of them, as I was telling Keegan earlier, most
Mm-hmm.
of them are the people were. I had one man that was much more evil than anything in the spirit world that I personally have seen.
Really?
Yeah.
So why were you called to that house? Because of experiences from other people?
He was seeing things, and that's I've gotten
Yeah.
known by just word of mouth. And over all these years, I've got a good clientele, and
Yeah.
it still's going, and people still mention me to other people. And he was someone that I think he'd been in prison, and he got out of prison, and there was just things in his house that he was not comfortable with. But he created all of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't any spirits. It was his own creation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So not everything's a spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
And I do have to ask one more question, though. Have you ever gone into the Fisher Theater or experienced
yes.
it?
Many times. I've had tours in there, done psychic fairs in there.
Really?
And it is so interesting.
So I went in there when I was little, and we went in and did the quick thing where they talk about, like, people see this mom over here with this boy, and they're just sitting watching a movie. And this was before they did the whole redo of it. I mean, what have your experiences been inside of it?
When I was down in the basement, I could see it's kind of like it transformed, and in the spirit realm, I could see all these tables and makeup mirrors and girls that look like the Flappers.
Yeah.
You know, and like one looked like Betty Boop, and I asked her, I said, so what's going on here? And she's like, it's a brothel, honey, don't you know? And then upstairs, the one that touched my heart the most, there's a couple things upstairs, but I want to say it's the third floor. There was a young man named Rocky, and he hung himself up there.
Okay.
And he was gay, and back then that was not accepted at all.
Yeah.
And he just went through a lot of personal torment. Mm-hmm. And that one was hard. That one was hard to deal with. And then there was a lady that drowned in a bathtub up there, and her two daughters knew about it.
Yeah.
I want to say 2 people drowned in the bathtub. Now that I think about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And we had a very disgruntled man that was cursing and telling us to leave.
A spirit?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get that a lot? Do you experience that?
You can. I've had it a couple times.
And do you respect that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, do you believe that something else can happen if you don't respect that? If you push?
I have been told you will be pushed down the stairs, and so I will stay
Wow.
clear of
Oh, my
stairs
goodness.
if I feel that way.
Yeah.
Because spirits can do they can use their energy, you know, if they're really hateful, they can use their energy and do negative things.
So that's one thing that like everybody has experienced some stuff down here in the basement, and I haven't experienced that yet. And they all say that, you know, he's just there, and he's not being forceful whatsoever. He's not doing anything physical
Right.
to any aspect. I mean, and what you just said kind of makes me think that if he wanted to, or if a spirit wanted to, they could do that.
Most don't turn like that, though.
Yeah.
It's usually, and it's very rare
Yeah.
that you come across those. And most, like, if there's a man that's just hanging out down here too, it could also be like a residual. You know, it's just that energy has stayed. Like when I said, let's pretend there's a prof that loved it here. You know, it may just be his residual energy that just keeps walking around the building.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I'm more scared or less scared.
I don't know. I could talk about this for like
I
5
really
hours.
could, truthfully.
There's
Yeah.
not,
Zero
it's
day.
truly, honey, there's nothing to be afraid of, because spirits, the majority are just like us.
Really.
You know, and we're all spirits.
Yeah.
And fear is something that can block you from seeing.
Yeah.
And so if you really want to see, you know, that has to be something that you have to work out within yourself. And if you don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
So what is this difference between your ability to see these spirits rather than like these movies that make you think that these ghosts are, you know, bad? Like, I mean, is
TV
there
is crazy.
is there truly nothing to be scared about with ghosts or spirits?
There really
or
isn't.
isn't anything like that?
I mean, it is rare to come across something evil, and you probably experience that because we're all given that inner knowing.
Yeah.
So, like, have you ever gone somewhere or met someone and it's kind of, you're like, I'm not sure I like that person.
Yeah.
And you don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know them well enough, but there's just something about them that you're not comfortable with. So that's your intuition telling you, be careful. And if you know, like, let's say your friends say, let's go out tonight and party, and there's something that tells you, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. You know, that's your intuition that's probably saving you from something.
It's the listen to your gut type of thing. Wow.
Because I had 2 guys that crossed over, and one of their message to their mom, it was the same mom that lost 2 sons at 2 different times.
Wow.
And they both said the same thing. I knew I should not have gone out that night. I knew it. You know, like, why? Why
Yeah.
did I go out?
Yeah.
But I also am a firm believer that our birthday and the day that we die are written down. And I believe
Really?
that I am a firm believer that when it's our time to go, it is our time to go. So
That is
whether
amazing.
we get murdered or fall downstairs or
Yeah.
get in a car accident or just get sick,
Yeah.
it's our time to go.
Yeah.
It's just,
I
that's
agree
just the
with
way it
you.
is. And so there's nothing, and I think that's something that really comforts people to know there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
There's
people,
no reason
This
to
is how
fear
it was
Yeah.
supposed. It was supposed to happen. This
Yeah.
is just how it goes.
yeah, and people will say, you know, oh, if only I could have done this. If only I'd listened to him. And it's like, you know, no, there was nothing you could have done. It
Yeah.
was, you know, and we have such a rude thing about death. And death is really awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
it's beautiful on the other side. It's peaceful. The vibrations are higher. And we shouldn't fear it. We shouldn't
Yeah.
fear it at all.
Gotcha.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like we said, Michelle, we could truthfully talk to you for hours about
Oh,
this.
thank you.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so excited and so happy that we got you here today because
Oh, thank you.
this is what we were like waiting for ever since we found out that Professor York's wife is a medium. I've just been counting down the days.
Yeah, it's
So-
perfect.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So with that being said, we do want to walk around campus a little bit
Yeah.
and hear what you have to say about it.
Sure.
All right. I'm excited. Let's go.
Let's go.
Keith.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, I got to tell you one thing. I mess up electronics, so I hope this doesn't happen because of my energy.
That is true. I've heard that happening.
Yes, because,
Expensive on laptops.
yeah,
Drains batteries.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Is it because the spirit takes energy from that battery?
I have no idea.
Really?
Just the whole electronic system, which is not.
It's so
batteries,
weird. Me
so-
and my mom are the same way, but when we walk under light
They flip.
posts,
They'll pop. or flick.
It's so weird. It is
Yeah.
the weirdest thing, and she swears by it. And I experienced the same thing as her.
Well, looking in
Keith,
your eyes,
medium.
Keith, you're an old soul. That's why I wanted to know your name, because you're an old soul.
I would say, I would agree.
Yeah,
I've been
I would
called that
agree.
so many times.
You are. You're an old soul. So we're kindred spirits.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And you have a calling to be a youth minister. Just
Stop
saying.
it.
That what?
I mean, I'm chilling all
that
over,
he's
so I
meant to be a
believe
youth
that.
minister.
I mean, I am chilling from
You're
head to toe.
about to make me cry because I've actually been thinking about doing that for the past like
Honey,
2
you
months.
have to. You would reach so many kids.
Oh God.
I mean, that's why you're here.
Oh.
You don't miss.
When
I'll be right
I
back.
chill and I prickle, it's the real
Yeah.
deal. So
Wow.
Oh.
I gotta shake that one off. Woo.
Look at me chills. That's perfect.
Yeah, he's gonna be a youth
Oh
minister.
no way. Oh wow. Okay.
You okay, honey?
Yeah. I was just
I'll
texting my
call you guys.
pastor yesterday about doing that.
That's
Wow.
why you're here, sweetie. That's why you're here.
I will just follow you guys around. So
Okay, where are we
Okay.
going
We'll wait
first?
for
I need
Kaya
to.
and then-
She just changed my whole life. I can't think right now.
that's awesome.
So, Kyle, you want to lead the way?
Yeah, tell me
Sure.
what people have been experiencing.
I heard the library was.
Yeah, libraries always are.
Really?
Yep, libraries and clock towers are a given. I don't know why.
Libraries have always been really creepy to me, and hotels.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I don't like hotels.
Well, I think it's because these are places that a lot of things gather.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so this is the lower part of the library. It
Okay.
spans over there. There's racks back there. This, an experience that happened down here, I think it is that one of the custodial,
One of the security guards.
one of the security guards.
Lights were flickering on and off in rooms, and then they like sprinted out, and they will never be down here alone
Yeah.
again.
I'm drawn down here. Can I go
Yeah,
where I'm
of
drawn?
course. Yeah.
You,
Okay.
you lead us if you want to.
Oh, I got chills right in here. Okay, so there's something, so we're gonna find it. Right in here. Okay, I feel things too, so I feel like COPD or something like that, something in my lungs. So I feel like the person, the spirit, might have been a smoker, had lung issues. I just heard, please leave me alone, please leave me alone.
Okay.
And that's a woman's spirit. That's more of a, now is this part of the old VA?
So down
I
here
think so, yeah.
would have been, was it the morgue?
I think so, yeah.
This would have been one of the parts of the morgues.
I keep, and I was telling my husband this, because like once I get a call, permission to do something, that's when spirit starts working.
Okay.
Like I said, I just don't do it. I wait
Yeah.
till I have permission. And I was telling Dawn that, I kept seeing a guy, he looked like an orderly. He was in white, and he said, like he couldn't talk to me. He was walking fast, and he was saying, yellow fever. So that's
Interesting.
what I'm picking up right here.
Okay.
I'm feeling like yellow fever. And I don't know why he was saying that. I don't know if that's even been in Danville. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
something to look up, research. I just can't breathe down here.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of heaviness in the chest area. Like the custodian, has he felt breathing issues or heaviness? Has he felt any of that?
We haven't been able to talk to him.
Okay. I also feel like the room's spinning a little, like moving.
Is there any reason for that?
I feel like it's just like the air quality is not good down here.
Yeah.
Breathing is hard down here. lot of sadness, a lot of heaviness.
Yeah.
Just very, very heavy. One thing too to note is that this year, or it started in 2020, is there's a veil between the two worlds. And in 2020, when I was doing readings, I kept trying to figure out what's different, what's weird. And Spirit told me the veil's gone. And it's like, that's right, I'm not seeing the veil. And so the veil has been lifted, and it's been that way since 2020, 2021. I don't know if the veil will come back. I feel like it represents protection
Yeah.
being taken. It's kind of like, okay, you guys learn now. You know, like the creator, universe, whatever you wish to call it, God, is saying it's time for you guys to learn now. It's time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where COVID was able to get in. And I feel like people are going to be seeing and spotting things more and more now because that veil is lifted.
Yeah.
So I think your podcast is going to bring out more people coming through. But this place is very heavy, very, very heavy, very hot, very heavy, very hot, very, someone down here, I don't know if it was a person that took care of things down here, but his lungs were not good, not healthy.
Gotcha.
I think that we should look into that.
Yeah. And you mentioned yellow fever. Could that have been talking about the Vietnam War, possibly?
Honey, I have no idea. I
Okay.
just got those words and I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
of
ahead.
course.
I really
you
feeling
lead us.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need to leave someplace, you go ahead.
And within our office that we kind of walked through, there's been quite a bit of activity there.
Okay,
If we wanted
let's
to
do
go
that,
right back
yeah.
through there.
Okay.
Especially in Kaya's specific
Wrong.
office.
Not in my. Hopefully not. I don't even know if I would want to know. Maybe if it was in my area.
You're good, hon. You're safe.
Okay.
If it's not good, I will get it out.
So you have that power as well?
Yep.
Wow.
Everyone does.
Oh, wow.
Just like you would not allow a burglar in your house, don't ever allow a negative spirit.
Okay.
Never.
All right. So a lot of it's been kind of around here.
Yeah, it's cold right here. Watches over you. It's a grandfather spirit, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is that?
your grandfather. You have a grandfather spirit watching over you.
My grandfather? Or like in general?
No, more personal.
Really? Interesting.
You have a grandfather on the other side?
I do, yes.
He's watching over you.
Really?
Yeah. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's not negative. Did you know him well? Because he's like, we didn't know each other too well. Wow. Yeah, he said we didn't know
Wow.
each other too well. And he wants you to know he loves you.
Wow.
And he's so proud of you. You've done, he's saying that you are your own worst enemy and that you don't realize, like you're a blessing. You don't realize how much you bless people and how much you help people. You just go about and do your stuff, but you don't think you're anything special. And he says that is not true. And he is here to tell you, I love you. I've grown a lot on the other side. I've healed. I've changed. And I'm here to let you know that I'm watching over you. He's your protector. He's your guardian angel. Yeah. And he loves you very much. And you have nothing to fear here. I'm just feeling love. I feel like he could just fall on his knees and cry. I'm feeling like my knees want to buckle and just cry.
Yeah. Wow. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. She was adopted from Korea when she was like 3 months old.
Yeah. Well, you got a grandpa, honey, that's never forgotten who you are.
Yeah.
Never forgotten who you are.
Yeah. I've had two of my grandparents, my grandpas have died here that are close to me and my family too, and one
Yeah.
pretty recently too, so.
Yeah, this is a little Korean man.
Stop.
It is. This is a little Korean man, and he said it was a good thing when you got adopted out. The situation wasn't good, and it's so much better. So much better. You were saved from a lot. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You were saved from a lot, honey. And you could never be what you are today. How exciting is that, right? I wish I could hug you. I hate COVID. So know that this is your grandpa. This is your blood. This is your guardian angel that's watching over you. And he's not ready to cross over. He wants to live through his granddaughter.
Yeah.
He calls you my granddaughter, and he puts his hand on his heart when he says that.
Yeah.
Taps it.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
You're good.
I'm gonna steal a Kleenex really quick.
What?
Kleenex.
Aw.
So now we're going to take you to, her name's Lisa, and we had her on the show before. She said that she was in a testing center one night in a lab,
Okay.
and she left the lab and closed the door, looked behind, and said, "Oh, I left a student in there."
Oh.
And then saw,
Yep.
was it just the upper half of a man?
She said she just saw the upper half of him. She said that he was in a uniform.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, a military
Okay.
uniform.
And in
Awesome.
all of these instances, they do just stand there.
Yes. That's more residual.
So how often do you get them outside?
I just see him all the time.
You see them everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see him in our yard. I see him in the grocery store. So like what a lot of people are seeing are just, it's the spirit world.
Yeah.
And like I said, where the veil is lifted, more and more are going to be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
More sightings. There was a time too where a lot of teachers were getting sick, like cancer and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, a lot of times the spirit world will say there needs to be cleansing,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
So, like when stuff like that happens, cleansing could be as simple as saying a prayer, or some people use sage, Palo Santo.
Do you use
Salt.
sage and stuff like that often?
I used sage for a while, but sage is not strong.
Okay.
And so I use Palo Santo sticks. They're from the olive tree in that family. They have a little bit of frankincense.
Mm-hmm.
Frankincense is very powerful.
Really?
Hey, Lisa's office is right here.
Lisa, is she in there?
Computer lab. Yeah, hold on.
Should we go talk? Should we
Yeah,
talk
we're
to
gonna
Lisa?
talk to
Would you
Li-
want to talk to her?
Sure,
If she's available, maybe?
sure.
No?
I'm gonna ask one of the testing. Hey, is Lisa in today? Did you see Lisa? Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, you're fine.
sorry.
I'm drawn to hear.
Can I help you with something?
So we're DACCAST. We're the media production interns.
Okay.
And we're doing a video. It's Professor York's wife. She's a medium. And so she's kind of going around campus
Okay.
and doing that.
Okay, so how long are you gonna need this room?
Just
Maybe
like
like
2
Just a
minutes.
minute.
3
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
It's a
Thank you.
walkthrough. Thank you.
My energy's drawn over this way, but that's today. It could have been another area the day that Lisa saw. And one thing to know about in classrooms and stuff, like everything is energy, right? I told you that earlier. So let's say that a student is grieving, okay? They're losing a loved one or their pet or something that they really loved, and they're grieving. That energy
Yeah.
can stay in the room.
Yeah.
A kid that is very depressed, contemplating suicide, that energy stays within in the room.
Yeah.
And like you can walk by a classroom and just get that feeling,
The heaviness.
and that could be you're picking up energy from a student.
Wow.
So, but where she saw someone in military, that's not unusual, is it?
Not here, no.
No.
A DAC especially, is that what you're saying?
No, because you're working where the VA's right there, and these are all VA buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VA grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of them could still
Oh
be
yeah,
hanging around.
and they'll wander. They'll just wander around and have fun. And yeah, we were at one part of Mary Miller, and one of the professors that had passed away when I was standing at the door waiting for Dawn. One professor that had passed away, he showed up, and had a personal message for him.
And
So
what was that?
was really neat. It was personal, so I don't want to say what it
okay.
was.
Okay, makes sense.
But it was just really neat
Mm-hmm.
that he
Interesting.
came through and just was saying hey.
And do you think that's because he spent so much time around?
Yeah, we were
Them?
colleagues when I first came.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
you knew of this
Yeah.
person that
Yeah,
was.
I knew him and shared interest and so forth.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there, and then there's people that do go to the light, but they'll come back and visit. You know,
Okay.
they are able to do that. Spirit allows them to do that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't spend a lot of time down here, but they can come and visit when they feel like it.
Yeah.
So the man in the military, I would say that was more residual. I would say it's kind of like watching an old movie play over and over and over,
Yeah.
Interesting.
like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've heard there's been a lot of, there's like a heavy presence of Mary Miller herself over in that building.
Now, I've not ever actually heard that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
personally never felt that, but
Gotcha.
I don't like, in Mary Miller, there's a part outside of the workout room, and there's like a bunch of vending machines.
Yeah.
That hallway I don't care for.
No.
It gives me it feels heavy.
Have you been
Gotcha.
around? I don't remember which one they were.
It was a corner classroom over by where the snakes are in the
Okay,
windows.
Do you want to take a trip over there?
sure, I'm good.
I mean, I think that they're
Mary Miller really wasn't
there.
An
yet.
older
that
building.
building.
Yeah.
She was president for a while, but
There was a janitor and his colleagues said that they'd be in there and they'd just hear her just say hello. Just every now and then, so.
Which
And
way
I
do you
can
wanna go?
understand that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You know, I can understand that because her personality,
Yeah.
that building's named after her.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she would want to make sure that all is good. And,
Yeah.
you know. Now, see, these buildings, there's a lot that goes on in those,
Yeah.
the upper buildings. Like I would sit in the car over there waiting for Dawn to get out of class, and I would see things up there. Sometimes I would see people walk by. You
Yeah.
see spirits walking by a window.
well, and there used to be a building that's not there anymore, right here where the tree, the big tree.
Yeah.
Right, all it used to be a building there. I know you used to see a lot of that in those windows.
Yeah,
it
because I
all-
was
it
about to ask
empty.
you, where's the other
It was
building?
empty.
Yeah, it was empty at that time. Before they tore it down.
Yeah.
She would see stuff in there.
So spirits, if you tear down a building, would the spirits that were there prior go with it?
It's whatever they want to do. Some will, and some will go in there.
Yeah.
Find a new.
Find new or walk around the campus.
Yeah.
It's what they're comfortable doing that they'll do.
Yeah.
And these were, you know, a lot of people that took care of others.
Yeah.
So I feel like they kind of, some of their energies want to hang around and keep taking care of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's 8-year-old Keegan asking you a question.
All right.
How quickly can they move? Like, can they just appear places when they want
Yes,
to?
yes, yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
I don't know why I just had a picture of
Yeah.
like them taking 2 hours to walk somewhere and be like,
No,
okay, I'm
not
gonna
at
sit
all.
here.
They're right there. Like, you know, like say you, like her grandpa, you know, say you were thinking of him, he would be right there
Yeah.
because our thoughts bring them right there.
So my mom has this thing when her dad passed with all of her siblings was he always said if you see a cardinal, you know, I'm there
Yes,
with you
yes.
and stuff like that. If you
Yes.
see a butterfly,
Yep.
do you believe in, I mean,
Absolutely.
does that have an important role to play?
Absolutely. And a lot of times when I'm doing a reading for someone, I will see an animal. The one that was really cool was I saw a red-tailed hawk.
Wow.
And the dad looked at his daughter and he's like, you told her. And she's like, I promise I didn't. And I said, told me what? And he grabbed my hand and took me to his deck. And he had painted a big red-tailed hawk the day after his son committed suicide.
Wow.
And that's always been their sign.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I get a lot of birds. I had someone literally have a squirrel, and they said they absolutely believed it because the person that crossed over loved to feed squirrels and was one that could get on their knees
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it ate from its hand.
Wow. Wow.
And that's one thing too, you have to learn not to filter, because there's sometimes I'll get something and I'll think, you know, my regular mind will say, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You know? And I've learned to say it because it'll make sense to the person.
Yeah. Wow.
Or you'll get aromas, like one reading I was getting like cinnamon rolls. And I knew I wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
And the grandmother had always made cinnamon rolls. That was what she was known for. And what happened over here?
This is where they heard Mary Miller kind of talking. This is the area of the vending machines.
Yeah.
Do you not want to go through it?
No,
It's
I'm
fine?
totally
Okay.
cool. Yeah, I've never liked this hall.
Okay.
Because I would go there and work out sometimes.
Yeah. Is this the one?
Yep,
Yeah, it's back here.
yep. I believe it.
You can feel her.
Yeah, I believe it. Because this is the hallway that I've always felt something. I think she likes the pink. Seriously, I think she does. I would take my kids here all the time to look at the snakes.
Yeah.
Ooh. Right in here something, because I felt like this being pulled back here.
Really?
Yep, right here. It's still here.
What's the significance of just this area? You wouldn't know.
You just feel something.
Yeah. Ooh, getting lightheaded. Getting really, really lightheaded. Something happened here. I don't know if someone got really sick here or, but I'm asking it questions. It's a young male. He does not like this stuff. Because he's saying, how would you feel? How would you feel?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But they are getting good care. They're loved.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, we got a young, I think he lived across the street and would come visit
Yeah.
at one time. I don't know like how long ago he lived across the street, but this he hates. So that's why he's pulling me back. Like, look at this. It's not natural habitat. He doesn't like that. Okay, I'm drawn back here.
You want to go in there?
Yeah, can we?
Of course, yeah.
I was waiting for you to say something right when we walked by. I thought that might have been the.
See, I want to cry. This is a heavy energy, and I just want to cry in here.
So it's not that you don't like it, it's just it makes you emotional?
Yeah, something very sad, and like I said, it could have been like a student's energy. I feel like I kicked the desk a lot. Like I sat in a corner and I kicked the desk. I either sat here or over there and I kicked. Angry, a lot of angry, like sad anger. He's just constantly kicking the desk.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk. That's okay. It's okay. This is, if I know the school probably wouldn't do that, but this is a room I would want to cleanse.
Yeah.
It just has a heaviness to it,
Mm-hmm.
a sadness to it.
Is there, so when you were speaking earlier about maybe the students that were in there previously just really brought a specific energy, I mean, would that leave with them? Would that kind of linger and then leave?
Sometimes people will leave it. You know, like if you have like a really bad work day, how many times do you just kind of shake it off and leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that kind of an energy. And then too, if they know they're coming back the next day, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I always think too, it's kind of like in the physical, like strong body odor.
Yeah.
When somebody has that and they leave, you still smell for quite a while afterwards.
Yeah.
It's really, spiritually, it's the same thing.
Interesting.
That spiritual body odor.
Yeah.
So
Negative energy.
what would you recommend people do with that energy? Would you recommend them like try and change it as best they can before they leave? Or,
Like deal with it?
Yeah.
Maybe like, yeah.
But so many people don't deal, honey. They don't know how.
Yeah.
You know, I think for other people, it's best to come in and acknowledge other people. You know, because a lot of people feel like I'm not noticed, especially where he angrily kicks the desk all the time. I think that would have probably gotten on the prof's nerves and other people's nerves, and I think he was just someone, he was trying to keep people away from him.
yeah.
But I think when you come into a room, I think it's always good just to spread that love and light in you. You know, everybody has that in us, and just kind of come in with the decent attitude, even at work, any place, you know, just kind of, and it's going to make your day better, not always, but
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to laugh, honey, because he's saying, yeah, preacher. That call is strong on
Yeah,
you.
I don't think that we actually got that on video, but can you re-say?
He is to be, you're going to start as a youth minister, but then you're going to eventually get your own church. And I mean,
Oh,
I am
wow.
chilled from head to toe when I say that. That's your calling. That is why you're here. And even he knows it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the chills.
It's just crazy because I text my pastor yesterday because when I go home to my church at home, I just said I want to get more involved, and he said, well, would you want to lead kids or teens? And I said, yeah.
Teens.
Teens?
You go with teens, honey. Kids are fine. They need someone to look up to. Teens these days are frightened. They're a little bit unruly and everything like that, but they need someone to look up to. They need somebody positive, and you're to go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're to just go for it.
So it changed someone's entire life.
He calls you preacher.
Preacher?
Preacher. He's got like attitude, so it's not like, hey, that's
Yeah.
a preacher. It's like
Preacher.
preacher.
Yeah.
You know, so there is something in your spirit that makes him very uncomfortable, and we know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes him very, very uncomfortable. But you know, he's trying to find his way. He's trying to find his way, and I feel the energy. I just feel his energy. He thinks you're cute. Okay. You can chill now, bud. We're not going to go there. Keith, I would like you to go ahead of me just because I don't trust him, okay? Whew. Now, do you guys feel the difference out here than in there? I mean,
think
can
so,
you
yeah.
feel? I feel like I can breathe a little better.
Yeah. So you just told Keith to go in front of you because you don't trust him? What exactly is that?
I think he would have pushed him.
Really?
I really do.
With that anger that we had seen, what you had talked about earlier, is
Yeah.
if they really are.
He was one that could push or trip or do something like that. And like at the Fisher, there's some places I won't go because it's like I don't trust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know?
Pushed on the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
We were headed back down from on our tour, coming back down from the top floors, and something pushed me from behind.
Can we go this
Stumbled
way?
down
Because I'll
a
show you
couple
where
of
that one
stairs.
professor
Really?
Yeah.
popped in.
So when you got in front of the snake, you said you're getting really lightheaded.
Yeah.
And then you can just feel like chills and heat. What's it like living with basically sensory overload on a daily basis? Can you kind of control it?
I can to a point, but if I'm not paying attention, they will do things like that.
Okay.
They'll make me lightheaded, so I'll stop. I always get pulled back a lot.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't think about it a whole lot. I just follow.
Yeah.
You know,
You do what they say.
not that they boss you around, not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So this is the other hall for me. And like, I've never, of course, been to the men's bathroom, but I don't like this women's bathroom. Have you ever been to this one? I don't like it.
No?
Like, I go, like if I'm waiting for Don and he's in the office part, it's like I'll go really quick
Yeah.
and get out of there. I don't like it.
Do you want to go check and then maybe we can go
You
in
want
there?
to?
Yeah.
Me? Check the men's?
Just make sure nobody's in there.
Oh, is this the men's or the women?
This
Wait.
is the women's.
No, this is the men's.
Oh, is it? Yep,
Yeah.
it is, because we don't have that stuff.
Bloopers.
We got some extra equipment.
You don't need to be a psychic for that one. This one I don't like, yeah. Now, what I think happened, what I feel like happened is I felt like another girl ganged up on another girl and she was trapped back here and the door was shut. And so I don't like this area because I feel like maybe I was slammed back here
Yeah.
and trapped, like someone being very hateful.
Gotcha.
So that energy lingers here. But yeah, I zip in and zip out if I have to,
Yeah.
but I try not to.
What about gyms or football fields, baseball fields? Is there
I've
any?
never had anything there. When I was in high school, I would overlook the football field in one of my classes,
Yeah.
and I would always see a man taking care of the field.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe like a former.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always had like a gray trench coat and a gray hat.
Yeah.
And my teacher told my parents I daydream out the window all the time. So I was here waiting for Dawn, and then right here is when a teacher that we knew, a prof, made a full body and talked to me for a while and gave me the message to give to Dawn. So this part is like special to me.
Yeah.
So would he have come through this entrance?
Well, you know, what's interesting is this wasn't here when he was here. This was outside. That door right there was the door to the outside. So
Okay.
Back then, he would have been standing outside, which makes sense because he was an outside person. He worked with earth science and so forth, and everything he liked was outside.
Yeah.
So none of this was here.
Yeah.
In fact, except for the gym, the part we were in, didn't exist until 1988.
Gotcha.
They added on to the building. So there's a lot, it's interesting there's so much activity in the newer part, but yeah, he would have been outside at this point.
And when did you start working here?
I started part-time in
89.
And I get a slight residual of him, and he's wearing a red shirt.
Yeah.
Might have light designs on it, like a diamond type thing, like all kinds of diamonds on the shirt. But I get a slight residual of him here.
Yeah. Wednesday at 2.
Is it locked?
If it's locked, he shouldn't have a
If
class.
it's locked, yeah, he probably doesn't have a class.
Hold on, I gotta figure out how to use a key.
Should we just knock?
Okay, so this
Oh,
is
it's Ronnie's class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ronnie Johnson said that he's had experiences at night with kind of cold.
Yeah, because
Chills.
it's cold right here. Does he hear his name? Because he says, I talked to Ronnie.
No, he never said anything about
Tell
that.
Ronnie to listen.
I'll tell Ronnie to listen.
He says Ronnie's name. I say his name. Oh, wow. I'm drawing two places. Let's go over here first. This sounds funny, but I feel like this is where they can come in. It's almost like, I feel a portal.
Yeah.
This feels like a portal. because it's really cold. I feel the cold. Keith, put your hand in there. See if you feel cold. You're an old soul. I want to see what you get.
Is it chilly, Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a change in
actually is.
temperature. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a portal.
So there are such things as portals.
There are. I mean, it sounds crazy to me too, but there are.
Would you say that's the only portal in this room? Or is a portal kind of
That's
what they
the
make
only
it?
one I've come across today. I don't always come across portals because usually spirits are already in,
Yeah.
but that one I did.
Like, so like more of like when it's active?
Okay, one thing too with spirits is they go where there's clutter. So like if I go into a home, I'm always saying, you know, try to organize your clutter, try to, you know, you want to do it
Yeah.
politely and not like, hey, you're a slob, you know. But they do need to organize clutter because spirits, that's a great place for a spirit that wants to hide, that wants to get away, will hide. And kids, little kid spirits, sometimes will hide.
Because they're playing or.
And I feel like there's a little boy spirit back there that is giggly and fun, and he doesn't come often though, because he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to. He let that be known. He's talking about horses. I don't know if there's any horses. Like someone painted a horse, or maybe he wants them to paint horses. There's a cat, but he doesn't care for the cat. Horses. Okay, maybe tell Ronnie they need to paint some horses. Ronnie needs to listen for his name. I bet he would hear it at night.
Yeah. He says he had that experience and that now he just leaves with the students.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
but he's safe. I'm not picking up anything negative whatsoever.
Okay.
The only negative was that one corner room in Mary Miller.
With the kid at the desk?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason he wanted to push you is because I think he thought you saw him.
'Cause
And so,
He doesn't.
and you're a guy, and it would have been easier to kick you than me.
Yeah.
you
at least
know?
he's respectful about kicking.
Yeah, I'm appreciative. I'm appreciative. I'm trying to see if I see horses anywhere. I think he wants them to do horses. Do a horse. He loves horses.
So maybe we should have Ronnie's whole entire class do horses. A
Yeah.
week on horses and bring
And
you
then
back.
come back after.
And just see what happens. Yeah. I mean, you never know. Might really help the energy, but yeah, I like the feel of this. This has a good, plus too, it's a creative space,
Yeah.
and creative spaces usually have great energy.
Yeah. Wow.
So like if someone, like say you have a friend that's down, depressed, get them into doing something creative.
Okay.
Like write, play the piano,
What does that do for them?
art. It raises a vibration.
Okay.
Creativity raises our vibrations.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
what you want to do. Always raise vibrations.
That's very interesting.
So, yep. And usually creative people are more intuitive. People in liberal arts are more empathic. You're empathic, that's why you'll be a good minister, youth minister.
I think we both had pretty powerful days.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is where we end, unless you.
I'm good. This
Yeah.
was so much fun, and I thank you guys so
Yeah.
Welcome,
much. You're
thank
all
you.
so sweet, and I appreciate
This
this.
was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. I'm
Yeah,
so
it's
glad that we could do
awesome.
this.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see you back sometime. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long we're gonna be gone in
Next
a
month.
week
Yeah.
or two, but
Well,
we,
I'm on Facebook, so I've got Messages by Michelle, which is my business page, and then
Okay.
I'm Michelle York. So let me know how you guys are doing. I would love to know.
yeah.
Okay.